So Doug and I don't have a whole lot to say. We just wanted to welcome everyone here and glad to see everyone in this community meeting, all of his HI members, and I think hopefully a few other people who are friends of the HIWP community who are helping us get this building put together. So I'm hoping everyone has seen, if they've had an opportunity to look at the blog posts and drive by, stuff is progressing and we're all very excited. And I think we just want to have this opportunity to show you where things stand and you know, as we're checking in as the construction's underway. So with that, we obviously want to get to the main deal, which is Lisa and Todd, but we're going to have ask Rabbi Martyr to say a few words. But before we go there, Doug, did you have anything to pipe?
I don't necessarily. I think that
no. If I forgot something, I might have just.
To welcome everybody. I'm trying to go through the list and looking to see who's on, and it's wonderful to see all these names and faces, and look forward to seeing everybody back together under one roof. And also wish to thank everybody for joining us for this wonderful, exciting time that we're all going through. Sadly, to experience in a two-dimensional way. But I think, like Kara said, let's get started and first have Rabbi Martyr would like to say some words. So go ahead.
Thank you. Firstly, just to share a perspective on the building. For those of us who are davening outside right now, we wanted to thank Shimon and Malak Shalit, who are on the call with us now, because they have provided us something essential for, you know, a place for our outdoor minyan week after week. And the truth is that it's hard to daven sometimes because there's lots of construction noise there from the hospital. Sometimes our contractors are actually working on Shabbos. It's their time and they're doing, so there's lots of noise happening, but it's a sound of lots of productivity. But so we have a perspective on the building and what's happening there slowly, but more importantly, we have a perspective on our community, really thanks to the good folks like the Shalits who've enabled us to daven there. I also want to think in a different context. If you notice the Torah reading this past week, as the instructions are given for the building of the Mishkan, once and again, the Torah says, ve'asita, 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 and you will make, and you will do, and you will do. And, you know, as you're reading it, you're saying, oh, you know, who's going to be doing the work? Who are these asita people? And so, of course, you know, there are all the artisans that will ultimately be carrying out their craft. But it's not until you get into Parshat Ki Tisa that you suddenly realize, oh, it's Betzalel and Aliyav, the people that who oversee everything on this this major project that is the Mishkan. And you know, we know that there's so many people who are on this Zoom who are generous in so many ways, and all the contributions that are described in Parshat Truma are there also. But ultimately, I think what we want to appreciate as this evening happens in the months ahead as well, there is a handful of people that are doing all the asitaing for us. The ones who are really, really doing the significant work, and it's the team that Todd heads, and it's Lisa, and it's Paul, and it's Michael, and others as well who are close in, who are the folks who are carrying the lion's share, and also really guiding our creative thinking about it. So we want to thank you. We'll have other opportunities to thank you too. We really want to thank you for all the asitaing that you've been doing, and we're looking forward to hearing all about what indeed is going on. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I think that's me. I'm going to share my screen and take us all through a brief presentation about kind of an update of our status. Before I begin my formal remarks or comments, just a couple of stage setting notes, again, to echo the rabbi's comments. This is a large, diverse team that is helping to move this forward. But my co-conspirators in chief are really Lisa Gilbert, Paul Orentlicher, and Michael Weintraub, who've devoted enormous amounts of time and an incredible skill set and expertise every day of every week to help make this work. As you'll hear more about, they have saved this shul already tens of thousands, if not over $100,000 through their efforts. Of course, our fundraising team, Keith and Mark, our treasurer, Ellen Unger, without whom none of this would be possible, and of course, the incredible ongoing week in and week out leadership of our lay leadership, our board and our management committee. Just before we dive into the details, one more big picture comment, which is to recognize where we have been and where we are going. If you'd asked us all 4 or 5 years ago, we all thought, well, we're going to have a hard time pulling off a $3 million project. And I say this often, we have raised over $4.5 million in pledges over the last few years, with collections continuing to come in all the time. We closed our construction loan and began construction in the middle of a global pandemic, which was by no means an assured thing. And again, just an incredible milestone. And of course, over the last 6 months, as you'll see tonight, we've made enormous strides in the construction of our building, and I'll speak about that in some detail. So delighted and excited to share our progress, to share the story, and to give us a sense of what the remaining months of this project look like. Just a brief note on schedule, which I know is a topic that is on everybody's minds, and as it should be. Again, we began our project in August of 2020, and we are maybe only a couple of weeks behind our initial schedule, owing simply to things like heavy amounts of snow, very cold weather, obstreperous city plumbing inspectors that are overly zealous in their job is just part of the process, but not really unexpected. In general, we are tracking well with our schedule, expect to complete construction in October, and then to move into the building in December before the end of the year. So net feeling really good about our progress on our timetable on construction, as consistent with where we initially projected it to be. So I'm going to walk us through, I'm going to show you, rather than speaking, I'm going to show you 2 different presentations to give people a little bit of a visual flavor for what's happening at the building in a way that I can't really achieve in person now because of the coronavirus. So sit back, grab the popcorn, and enjoy a couple of brief presentations. Hopefully everybody could hear that. We're going to talk more about what you were just seeing, but primarily you're looking at a time-lapse video that's mounted at the top of the building overlooking the what used to be the playground and the small social hall. And what you were really seeing was the demolition of the foundation and lower level where the small social hall was, and the pouring of foundations and footings for the new addition. The work has actually advanced somewhat beyond this now. The walls are beginning to come up, but we're going to speak more about that in the coming minutes. The next thing I want to share with everybody is a 10-minute video that Paul and Lisa painstakingly recorded last week to basically walk you through live what's happening on the building site and kind of let you into the building so you can see it from the standpoint of a construction worker. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Paul Orendlicher.
It's me, Paul, and I'm here with Lisa, and we are going to give you, or try to give you, a tour through this construction site. There's actually a lot of work going on, and there's a lot of noise, so it is very possible that my voice will be drowned out at some point, but we're just going to continue. This is kind of raw footage, and we're going to try our best. So what we're looking at now is the north wall. This is by the parking lot. Green Ridge is on that side, and Maple Avenue would be over there. I'm going to show you a elevation to help explain what's going to be happening here. You can see our existing social hall, and the thrift shop is right under here, right over there. This is our new entry here, and our new addition over there. Now, even though you're seeing a stucco wall here, a whole bunch of that wall is coming down and out. And those areas that are coming out are the areas where we're inserting glass. So you'll be entering the lower level actually on grade, new grade. It used to be higher. Now it's been dropped. And you'll see storefront glass here and storefront glass in the upper lobby. Metal panel all around the glass. And here is our elevator structure, which is the exterior of that is ephes, which is a kind of stucco finish. And that same stucco finish is at our addition, at the upper part of the addition. And at the lower part of the addition, we have Cordova stone here and a stone sill. The rest is stucco. These same materials are used throughout the addition, all the way around and back to the Rutherford entrance. Here again, we'll look at the elevation. It basically has a base of Cordova stone, which looks very much like Jerusalem stone, which is actually right over there. Then it has a stone sill over here, which is that's actually being stored over there on the side. And then there's that stucco ephes finish. This elevation is a little bit deceptive because it looks very flat, but actually this middle section comes forward a couple of feet, and this is set back. This is actually way back, as you can see. The entrance to Rutherford is over there. We have all of these, lots of windows at the lower level, and up here is the main sanctuary, and we have all of these large windows all the way around the sanctuary, just an incredible amount of natural light. And then there you can see our sloped roof going back. It's in elevation, so it looks flat, but it's actually going down. Here we are at the south elevation, the Rutherford entrance. And you can take a look up here. You can see that the landing and the stair is gone. The area of the brick where the doors are and the window above, all of that is coming out, and that's going to be our new storefront entrance, and with the vestibule, glass vestibule in front of it. So that'll be all glass. We'll have a wide landing, wider stairs. There's even going to be an exit from the social hall onto that landing as well from the side there. And there's also a ramp, which is going to be coming up along the social hall wall here, the exterior wall here, and up onto that landing as well. Here's an elevation of that wall. Here are the stairs up, the ramp on the side coming up to the landing, all glass here, metal panel above, parapet above that. Our new addition is over here. It's the side view, and our existing social hall which is right there. Okay, everybody. Now we're at the lower level on the north side in the area that is going to be our new lower level lobby. So this is the lobby area. There's a portion of this that's coming down. There's a wall over here that's going to be coming down. That's actually where the flue was. So this will be a complete rectangular space. Over here is our north wall and our main entrance into the lower level. This is going to be all glass. And over here will be our elevator, which will be programmable, and a shopper's elevator also. And that will be in this corner over here. On this side is our office spaces. Back in there, that is our office area. If you look at the plan in the office, you'll be coming through these two doors, a large open office area, which will have all kinds of furniture, a bunch of individual offices, single office, double office, single office, rabbi's office, conference room, and plenty of natural light. There are windows around the entire perimeter of the office area. Okay, so continuing, this is that 1/3 bay that we were talking about here. You can see the piers that separate each of the bays, the 3 bays, 1, 2, 3. The middle bay, which is right over there, is our chapel, or let me drop, and you can see in the plan here, that's this area here. Right here is where our main stair is located. I hope you can hear me. The stair is about 4.5 feet wide. This ceiling is going to be completely open, or halfway open, let's say till about where I am here. And that's all open to the main lobby above our upper lobby, but that leads to the sanctuary and social hall. So once again, this is that wall where the stair is. So you can see in the plan, here's our stair coming up. These are the two entrance ways into the chapel beyond. This is our new addition. And down in this area here are our classrooms. There's going to be actually 3 classrooms here, 3 new classrooms. And there's a corridor that runs right down the side here, all the way out to the end. There's actually an egress door at the end. And that corridor continues all the way through, all the way down here. And over that corridor are other classrooms. We have 5 classrooms. We've now entered what is going to be our thrift shop, which was our thrift shop before also. Everything here is going to be refinished. New sheetrock, new flooring, new ceilings, new lighting. Everything will be redone. There's going to be a new door, an entrance glass door over there in the corner. That goes straight to the outside. Okay, so here we are in what was our existing sanctuary social hall. And that's where the hour code used to be. This is now all social hall. The entire area is our new social hall, which will have new finishes. And then over on this side, you can see we have our kitchen on the right. There's actually an outdoor, separate doors in the kitchen. And some separate toilet rooms, 3 toilet rooms over here, which come right off the main lobby, which is back over here. And there's some additional coat hanging as well. This is actually our Nitzilat Yadayim, our washing station, the meals. And right here will be a built-in lower cabinet. There will be a ceiling over this. It's about 8 feet high, 3 vessel sinks, and it's going to be a beautiful area to wash your hands. Okay, so we're back in the social hall, and everything, all these openings that you're seeing here on this wall, open up to our new lobby. The lobby runs the entire length, north to south. And on the left side is the Rutherford Entrance, so let's go in there and take a look. Okay, so this is going to be our new Rutherford Entrance. remember this over here used to be the Officer Terry and Crystal door. Those are the doors coming in Rutherford. This is all empty. This entire length, and you can't see it because there's still walls. These are actually temporary shoring up walls that are here. But this entire length is all open. This lobby is going to be beautiful. I'll show you some images of that. And this is all glass. This entire wall is a glass wall. There's glass vestibule on the outside. And there's going to be a lot of southern light coming in. Okay, so we're still in that lobby area, the upper lobby. So I just wanted to show you that this wall here, this entire wall here, is the wall of the sanctuary on the other side. So all the construction, actually, if you go to that window, there's a great view. Straight down the whole side. So you can see that that entire area is going to be the area of our upper level sanctuary space. And I have a plan here just to show you. This is the wall that we're looking at right here, this wall right here, where this window is right here, and this wall where our stair is. And here we have our two sets of double doors going into our sanctuary space.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Let me just say thank you so much, Paul. That was amazing. I don't know if there was any better way that we could have tried to communicate the activity that's going on in the building and how far we've progressed so far. So thank you so much for braving the cold and the construction site to do that. At this point, I'm going to unshare my screen and turn it over to Lisa Gilbert, who's going to take us through some of the furnishings and fixtures that our interiors and our sanctuary committee have been hard at work preparing to give you finally a feeling for some of the textures, materials, and colors that are going to characterize the inside of our building. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, everyone can hear me? All right, that was amazing, Paul. Thank you for that. And now that you've seen some of the construction process, we wanted to share some information about what the building is going to actually look like upon completion. As you can imagine, as Todd mentioned, this project has involved a significant amount of work over a number of years. So I really do want to start by just thanking all of you, each one of you, for your support over the years, and also to each of you who have contributed on so many different committees over the years. We know many, many people have contributed, and this has been an effort really that's spanning well over a decade at this point. So building on all of that work, we've gotten to this next exciting point in the process. The specific work that I'm going to show now is really focused on the finishes and the sanctuary. And for this work, we established a smaller decision-making group comprised of people from the original committees, the sanctuary group led by Beth Hurwitz, and the interiors group led by Audrey Reich and Debbie Goodhartz. And our process of selection and decision-making kept in mind all of the guiding principles that the broader working groups had started with. And as we moved forward, we had all those things in mind. Our shared mission has been and continues to be to provide our new building with integrated, spiritually uplifting, beautiful spaces consistent with our community values. Now, I just had to put this in there because, as the rabbi mentioned, I don't think this was meant to be, but it's a very coincidental fact that we just got past Parshat Truma. It's a nice coincidence for today's presentation. And I do want to note that most people maybe get bored by its lengthy directions and specifications about how to build the tabernacle, but Truma has always been one of my favorites. So as the rabbi said, make me a sanctuary, and here we are. So I appreciated that little, sort of timing. As for the content of this presentation, I'm going to begin by reviewing some of the drawings. I'm going to review the site plan to review the overall layout of the building, and then I'm going to go over the exterior elevations, the finishes for the exterior of the building, and then we're going to go inside and look at the inside, the lower and upper level plans, the sanctuary plan, and finally the interior finishes. Now what you see here is our site plan. I just wanted to walk you through this because we have some changes to the way circulation is going to work around the site. This is Greenridge, and this is Rutherford. As you all know, we used to have a primary entrance here on the side of the building at Greenridge and an entrance here. What we're having now is this main center of the building is a circulation spine, and it's our primary entrances to the building. There'll be one main entrance here on Rutherford with a ramp up along the side and a big stairway. And then on the back side, on the lower level, there'll be a new north entry, which is primarily our daytime entry and our family entry. There's a playground out here, ramps again down. And when you come to that lower level, you'll have this nice stairway to come up and rise up into the sanctuary. But again, part of the site plan, the shift that we've made here is that most of our circulation is happening here. This entrance is no longer going to be an entrance, it's going to be exit only. And we have a couple of exits here along the back of the building as well. Parking is still up along this L shape. We're going to have a newly graded area so that although we have this new parking, playground area, this also depressed situation down here, which is like sort of a little bit of a lower level entry level, which is below the level of the parking lot. So all this gets lowered a little bit. So we have a nice entry here. It's not a sneak in by the door. It's a new, nice, proud entry, which you're going to see in a few minutes. Again, Paul showed these a little bit on site. These are the exterior elevations of our building. This is the new Rutherford entry that I was pointing out. There'll be a new ramp up along, catching the sidewalk, coming up along the side of the building. And then there'll be this lovely new entrance here coming up on our upper level. This is the side of the building that is the new construction, lower level classrooms, the chapel and the offices, and the upper level is the sanctuary. Our existing block here is going to be full on the section that we used to have our sanctuary and social hall. That'll be all social hall. And then at the north end, the new kitchen and the bathroom block. What you're looking at here is the west elevation, as if you're in the parking lot looking back at the building. These doors are really the exit doors from the hallway and from the chapel. They're not used for getting into the building, but they are exit doors. And what you see here is a beautiful long line of big windows bringing natural light into the sanctuary. This little side door is here into the social hall. What you see here is the block of the elevator on the side. And what you see down here is the stairway and the ramp up from the side of the building. These elevations show the other two sides of the building. This one you'll recognize. There's not too much change along our Rutherford entry, along our Greenridge side. But here's our north entry, which is a big change and a lovely change actually, because what we're going to have here is a primary entrance to the building. There's going to be a new storefront entrance at this lower north side. Again, there is parking here. There's a playground in front of this section, but this whole lower level has an entrance to the thrift shop, and it also has a lot of space there. So it's a sort of a comfortable way to get into the building. It's not going to be, used the same for everybody. I think one thing that we're thinking is that if you have a family and you have stroller and you have kids, you'd be able to come in on the north side of the building where you have the bathrooms and where you have the classrooms, and that the upper level would be primarily for people who are able to come right up and into the sanctuary. But this is going to be a very user-friendly area with a big playground space here. Now, getting into the finishes, this is just something that I want to review quickly because the finishes were selected together with our project architect, Nina Lesser from Peter Gisolfi's office, as well as with our interiors group, which again, I mentioned Audrey and Debbie are in that group, and also Malka Helft and Paul Ohrenlichter. The process for making these selections, I just wanted to review. Basically, Nina from Gisolfi's office would bring to us in-person meetings. She'd bring to us materials, and we had a series of in-person meetings where we worked together to select the products that we felt were aesthetically pleasing, certainly in our price point, but also giving and providing us the goal of giving the whole building a cohesive design. So there was a feeling to the building that had been designed together in one cohesive part. The materials are all non-toxic, they're sustainable, they have a range of green certifications. The materials selected are all durable, easy to clean, and they're certainly going to allow us to have a successful maintenance plan moving forward. I am going to be showing pictures of some of these finishes, and I do want to just mention that if we could have been in person, you would be able to see these materials in person. But of course, pictures, although good representations, they're not as accurate as seeing the products themselves. So just keep that in mind. And also, so everyone knows, there are no paint colors going to be shown tonight. That will happen much later in the process. This slide is just showing there's a whole bunch of green certification that these products have. We were very mindful of our need to make sure that our products were non-toxic and they're complying in a number of different ways. Now we're going to get into the actual materials of the building. As Paul showed from the outside, this the building is going to have a range of materials. What Paul was talking about, the new entry here, this glass storefront material. This drawing is a little bit out of date, but the reason I'm showing it to you is because it shows the basic idea where there's a base of stone, a windowsill material, and then an upper section that will be stucco. The next slide, you're going to see Nina Lesser give a little presentation about the exterior materials.
Lisa, we don't hear anything.
Okay, hang on. I'm not sure I can change the volume. You can't hear Nina's voice?
No.
No.
Did you share computer sound?
I thought I did.
Well,
If not, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to troubleshoot that in the process. But what you will see, what Nina's talking about, are these three materials. What we can basically say is that what she's explaining is that this stone material is right here. This is at the base of the building. Then at the windowsill, there's this material here, the cast stone. Above the window, that section that I showed you on the drawing before, that's an ephes material, which is a stucco material. And this brown shows the window frame color. All our new windows are going to be this lovely new brown color. The storefront is also going to be a dark color. I'm sorry that Nina's video is not showing sound, but I don't want to try to troubleshoot that. She made a nice little video here for us, so oh well, sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to get into looking at some of the plans, and then I'll show you the materials for some of the spaces. This plan is actually a floor pattern plan. I'm not really going to show right this minute the different patterns and what each floor material is, but I just wanted to talk through the plan so we could talk a little bit more about what happens on each level to remind everybody. This is the lower level plan. So that used to be, you know, our bait me drash used to be over here, the mechanical room over here. In the new level, in the new entry here, this new north level entry, what we're having here is this double pair of doors, an additional single door, and this is the elevator. So this north entrance is this primary entrance to the building for many, many occasions. There's also a direct entry here into the thrift shop. The thrift shop has its same corner spot, as Paul mentioned, in the building. Now, when you come in this lobby where Paul was standing and saying lower level lobby so nicely, that mess of noise you were hearing is this space here. It's going to be our new lower level lobby. There'll be nice little furniture in here, a little sitting area, and a nice double door into our office block. The office block, as Paul mentioned, has a bank of offices around the window wall, center space here, and then the center bay of this addition has our chapel. In between the chapel and the hallway, there are two main entrances with a double door situation. So along the inside wall here, we have cubbies for talit and people to leave their things here for daily minyan. There's a door in this way and a door out this way. The main stair from the upper to the lower level starts right here at the lower level entrance of the chapel. So you would come here the lower level, the stair rising up to the sanctuary. At the same time, on the other side of the chapel is our bathroom and closet bank. When you come in to each side, men's and women's, this is the women's bathroom, this is the men's bathroom. In between, there's a nice big walk-in closet with hanging and cubbies in there too. So this is sort of a little bit of a cycle. You can kind of come in and out easily. Along the bank, the last bay of this new addition is the classrooms. When Paul was pointing out that we have 5 classrooms, 3 of them are within the new addition, 2 of them are within our existing block now. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. There's storage room, mechanical, more storage over here, a couple of closets. And I will point out that the classroom here actually does have a little kitchenette for the youth to use, and there are a couple of closets here. So this lower level, again, as I mentioned, the stairway that goes up to catch up to the second level, when you get upstairs, this is a double-story height. So when you're at the top of the stair, now you're upstairs, there's a nice big open double height space here. Our lobby goes all the way through with beautiful glass at both ends. There's the north side glass and the south side glass. The main entry, as I mentioned on Rutherford, has this new ramp up along the side. It'll be an accessible entry as well as a grand staircase. This door is really primarily an egress only door. The main entrance to the building would be this way through those double doors. As I mentioned before, also the new building on this side is our new sanctuary. On this side is basically the block of social hall and kitchen and 3 bathrooms here with additional closets on this side. As I did mention, this vestibule will no longer be used as a primary entry. It'll be an egress only situation. The kitchen will have meat and dairy sections. There's a door directly out to the back of the building where also the caterers could come and get right in there. Now, to talk a little bit about the sanctuary, as Paul mentioned, this is a sanctuary plan. A lot of work has gone into this plan. If you look more carefully at the sanctuary plan, there are 4 doors. One side will be for women and one side will be for men, but at each point, the outside door will be used primarily for coming into the space and the other door for outside the space. So on a typical Shabbos, women and men would be coming in the outside set of doors, and wrapping around the outside of the sanctuary is a series of risers where there'll be pews up along the risers. And in the center of the space, our primary seating here is going to be chairs, flexible seating chairs that can link together, that can also have book boxes in them, but can provide some flexible seating. Now in the middle here, you see our center bima, and here's our Aron wall. So again, when you come into the space through this east wall, you'll come in and turn around back, and here's our Torah. These next few drawings are showing some of the interior finishes. This drawing is a little bit out of date. We don't have this wood-like ceiling anymore. It will just be sheetrock, but I want to just show you this view because it does give a sense of what the lobby space will look like. Looking back at the sanctuary, this is one of those 4 pairs of doors. These are the other 2 on the Rutherford side. This will all be new storefront with glass, and this side over here is the social hall. This flooring material we're going to look at in a minute. It looks a little bit gray here. It's really a resilient floor. That's a beautiful, I'm going to show you in a minute. It looks a little bit like concrete, and this is a light wood, natural wood that's going to be used in the spaces as well. And here's that stair. In this drawing, it's not the double, it doesn't show the extra width here, but this is really going to be a double height open space with lots of natural light getting down to downstairs. This material is what the lobby floor will look like. This is the material. It's called a Cortec. It's a Cortec technology. It's a cork-backed product, and it is incredibly durable, as well as being very good for reducing sound transmission. This light maple is, again, the wood that will be surrounding the entrance doors to both the social hall and the sanctuary. This I'm showing here in relation to the flooring because this is the dark color, again, of our windows on the storefront. Now you're going to see this fly-through of the sanctuary. Again, this isn't an accurate description of everything that's going on inside the space, but it does give you a good overview of all the natural light and of the general feeling of the room. It's a little bit outdated in terms of the specifics, but it does give you a feeling for the room, and you can see all that beautiful natural light that's going to be coming in, and also the high clerestory windows up here above the Aron. And you can see here the doors, as I mentioned, our idea is that people will come in on the outside a little away from the Aron and then make their way to their seats. Looking again a little more at the sanctuary materials, there's going to be a carpet on the floor, which I'll show you a little more in detail, another complementary carpet for the bima and the center bima and the front bima, and then the light maple wood again will be around a wainscot around the whole room, as well as at the doors. Don't mind this mechitza. It looks like a little border wall. It is not. We have not yet gotten that designed, but that is a little deceiving in this picture. But another thing to point out is just how this nice center section of the room pops up a little higher than the side section, so you get a little bit more natural light there over the Aron. This next series of slides shows some of the finishes more specifically. This is the sanctuary carpet. This install picture, again, this is not a room in our space. This is just purely from the website showing what that carpet would look like installed. The carpet samples over here. This is the carpet as it would look installed. This is the complementary carpet, which would go onto the bima with that light, beautiful wood around the wainscot of the room, the doors. And this is the chair that has been selected. If many of you have been, maybe a year ago, we had a number of smachot at Kol Ami, and a number of the reasons that we liked the idea of the flexible seating was because of those simchas, and that Kol Ami chair is this exact same chair. We very much liked it, and we're going to be using it in the sanctuary for the center section. Again, that dark color here is for the windows, and you can see how nicely it looks, complementing the dark window against the nice light wood with this carpet. The next slide shows the social hall carpet. Again, a nice pattern, durable, easy to maintain, nice looking. And at the end of the social hall, maybe you saw in that one plan, there's a little section of a harder floor, not wood. This resilient floor that's in the lobby also picks up the floor at this end, the washing end of the kitchen end of the social hall, as well as back area where the bathrooms are. And again, I'm showing that same wood because the doors there to the social hall are that same pretty light maple wood. This is not really going to look like, this is not our space. This is a website pictured, but to show you the install of that carpet. And the final carpet for the space that's a primary pattern is the chapel. The chapel is going to have this lovely blue patterned linear designed carpet, and it's going to be complemented by the office block, which has this nice, this does not look right in this color in the screen, but it is a nice sort of a rich dark blue. The flooring for the hallway is going to be a similar resilient cork-backed floor. I'm going to show you, there are two different patterns. The one in the hallway is sort of a little marbleized look. And again, that same storefront window and the same light maple used for the chapel doors. This is the three different resilient flooring materials. The cork-backed resilient flooring, this is the one that's in the upper lobby, and these are the ones that are downstairs. This one, everything that's off the hall, the thrift shop, as well as the classrooms would be this pattern, and this pattern is in the main hall of the lower level, I mean. And this is just a quick picture just showing some of the details we've had to go through to decide things. This is, you know, the sinks and the faucets for the lower level bathrooms. The upper level bathrooms will have a wall mounted sink. There'll be these tiles, don't look exactly right, but there's a two-tone color for the tile in the bathrooms as well. Now, next steps. Again, this is a visual aid. This is to just cue me to say, okay, what are our next steps? We've gone through a lot in this project so far. The next steps is we are going to be finishing up the last of the material selections. We have light fixtures to select as well as window treatments to coordinate. And then we're going to need to move on to the important section of the sanctuary, which is the ritual furnishings. It's such a critical part of our sanctuary, and we're just about getting ready to get to that point. Our first step for this work really is to identify a designer to collaborate with us on the design of these ritual things, which would include the Aron doors, the Ner Tamid, the Mechitza, the Bima, things like that. So although it's early in the process and we don't have work to show, I do want to introduce the work of a woman named Amy Raychart, who is a designer and an architect and highly experienced with synagogue interiors. As an aside, not only is she a good fit for helping us with this work, she is strongly connected to White Plains, as she is Diane Bloom's cousin, and she's also shown her Judaica at the Beit Am Shalom Winter Crafts Fair for years. She's visited our community many, many times, and we will be getting a proposal from her shortly, and we do hope to move forward with her on our ritual furnishings. But as an introduction, I did want to go ahead and show you a few slides of just some of her past work so you get a feeling for the attention to detail that she gives in her work and what the kind of tone and tenor of her design work is like. So again, the next few slides have nothing to do with our specific project, but they introduce the designer that we're hoping to work with to do our ritual furnishings. These are from her website showing some of the synagogue work that she has done before, and you can just sort of get a sense of how her aesthetic might be a nice matchup for our own project. And on that, I will pass it back on to Todd. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Lisa. And that was amazing, incredibly illustrative and useful. And I just want to acknowledge behind Lisa and Paul and Michael, there are dozens of people who, I can't name them all tonight, but between the Sanctuary Committee, the Interiors Committee, the Kitchen Committee, who continue devoting their time and energy and expertise day in and day out to helping us make these decisions and keep pace with construction. And that work's going to continue over the coming weeks and months. So how do we get from where we are today to there? I guess what I want to say is I recognize that the last year or so of COVID-19 has been a difficult, financially stressful time for many. That's led to changes in the workforce and changes in employment. We get that. I also recognize at the same time that the stock market has performed well for many that have assets invested in the market. We're feeling that, you know, things have come back. Not everyone feels this way. That said, what we want to say is, you know, we have come an incredibly long distance in all of the pledges that we have raised today. And we're at that last kind of 5 to 8% to really finish out the building in a way that makes it beautiful and meaningful. And so what I really want to say today is, if you've made a pledge already, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's gotten us to this point. If you're able to increase that pledge today and contribute more, if you're able, now is the time. If you have made a pledge and are able to pay it down sooner than the schedule has provided, now is the time. If you have made a pledge but not yet been able to fulfill, to pay into that pledge, now is the time. $1 today is substantially more valuable to us than $1 tomorrow. It allows us to purchase the equipment to finish the job. And of course, if you have not yet made a pledge but are considering one, we're certainly happy to speak with you about it. Again, I want to end by saying that we have come a tremendously long way with an enormous amount of effort from many, many people. We want to acknowledge how far we've come and how fast we are moving today, and that we are in the last kind of throes, and that with all of your help and leaning in, we can yet make this a beautiful, meaningful, and sacred space for all of our congregation.